Elections Committee for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. I have a quorum with myself, Council Member Rutherford, Council Member Sepulveda, and Council Member Spain. We do not have anyone on here for public comment, so we'll go right into the agenda. I got the two resolutions on consent. That is RS 2025-1656, a resolution requesting that the Tennessee General Assembly authorize the naming of the Gallatin Pike Bridge over State Route 155 Briley Parkway as the Representative Carson W. Bill Beck Memorial Bridge, sponsored by Benedict. I have a letter to approve. And then RS 2025-1657, a resolution honoring Clemmy Greenlee for her service and dedication to the less privileged in Nashville and Davidson County, sponsored by Swara, Toombs, and others. Are we happy with those remaining on consent? All in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, we're at 5 with Vice Chair Evans. All right, let me make a record of this. 5 to 0 to 0. All right. And then bills on second reading. We have BL 2025-1061, an ordinance to amend Title II of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to establish the Metropolitan Animal Care and Control Commission, sponsors Wiener and Stiles and others. And there is an amendment. Do we know if
she's here? She is here. I'm sorry. Yeah, see if I can go.
Let's see if we can round her up quickly.
You could sing in the meantime if you wanted.
Ooh, no. We don't want that.
Karaoke.
I want that.
I want that.
Or Emily can after her sing karaoke.
Okay, Smarty, go to a party.
See?
My go-to.
You right here.
That's my karaoke go-to. Especially when
I was trying to sing it and the lyrics and then I couldn't do it.
I would gladly sign on to this amendment if you like.
There she is.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, council member.
Hi, guys.
We are on BL 2025-1061 and its amendment. Would you like to, I know was it 1 meeting ago or 2 meetings ago, we deferred,
Yes,
and you are here with an amendment.
yes, the amendment is pretty simple. It's taking 2 words out, and operations. We were not supposed to be, as a commission, involved in the operations of the Board of Health or any entity of the Board of Health. That was, I thought had been taken out, and when I read it, I was like, uh-oh, it's in. So when I talked to Dr. Franklin, Dr. Franklin today, I said we need to get that out, so that's all it is.
Okay, I think we need to move the bill. Can I get a motion?
Second.
All right, and are we ready to move the amendments?
So moved. Second.
All right, any discussion about the amendment, the removal of 2 words? All right, all in favor of, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in favor of the amendment to 1061?
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? All right, now we are on the bill as amended. Any discussion about the bill?
I mean, I'm happy to share.
Go for it.
Okay. So I did go to, Councilmember Wiener wasn't able to go to the Board of Health meeting last week, so I did go in her absence and answered questions about the legislation and the intent and that kind of thing. And basically kind of reinforced that, there's so many district council members where animal control issues are a really big challenge because we end up being, like, nobody's coming to us to get a vaccination because we're not qualified, but we can go pick up, stray dog or, litter of kittens or, whatever. So, so reinforce the support. And so they had questions, they had some concerns. I think they figured out kind of within their structure that there's not isn't a great path between, like, when we go to the staff to work on legislation, how it gets to the Board of Health, and I think that they have solved that as part of that dialogue. They had 4 members of the board present, and so that's their quorum, but it was 4 members in discussion who then provided the feedback to the director, which generated the letter that, you know, we ended up getting from the board chair. But
Thank you.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
Anything else? Are we ready to vote? Have we moved it? I think we did, yeah. All in favor of BL 2025-1061? 1061?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Right, passes 6-0. Right, we have a late filed amendment to RS 2025-1655 by Benedict. Withdraw, okay. All right, and now we have the board and commission elections for General Sessions Judge Division 6. This is an election to fill the judicial vacancy in the General Sessions Court. As you know, we had great interviews 2 weeks ago, and so now the judge candidates are here and we will vote as a full body in council. But we are to vote whether we found them qualified. And first is C. Michael Robinson. All in favor of C. Michael Robinson?
Aye.
Any
Can you
opposed?
take them as a slate?
Take them all together.
Oh, can we do them all together? We can. All right, I'll consolidate this. We're voting to approve C. Michael Robinson, Mark Andrew Cole Sr., Jody Bell, Leroy J. Ellis, and David Jones. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? All right, so for all 5, it's 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Now we're going to those 3 candidates that we're going to interview today. The first is the Transportation Licensing Commission. The nomination of, even though it's not on the agenda, the nomination of Carrie Rogers to fill 1 vacancy on the commission for a term expiring on October 20th, 2027, with an election to be conducted at the December 4th, 2025 council meeting. Mr. Rogers, I think we've
I've been here before.
you've been in the hot seat before. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to, you're not on it now, is that correct, or you are?
Yes, I am.
You are,
Yeah,
okay.
I've been-
All right.
I actually was appointed back when Bill Purcell was mayor, when the PLC dealt with taxis, wreckers, and limousines and nothing else. Then I rolled off for 20 years, came back about 6 years ago, and now the council has given TLC entirely too much to do, quite frankly.
They weren't even doing the horse-drawn carriages back then?
Oh, no.
That's
I don't
fairly
think there were any, no. Party buses, scooters, golf carts, all of it. So it's a challenge, to say the least, especially when you only show up once a month.
Gotcha.
But Mr. Rooker
So-
does a good job. He needs more staff. That's my goal for the year, is to get Mr. Rooker some help.
Okay.
And maybe we'll raise fees to do it. But at any rate, you know.
So when it comes to those challenges, what rises to the top in your to-do
Well,
list?
I've been a bike and walk advocate for 20-some odd years, so I'm very interested in bike share. And to get bike share, we need scooters, because the scooter companies make money off the scooters, which allows us to require them to have bicycles. And so the two sort of go together in terms of economics. So when I came on the commission, we had, I think, 1,500 scooters. And no, actually, at one time we had 4,000 scooters and 7 companies. Then we went down to 1,500 scooters and 3 companies, and now we have about 2,000 scooters and about 500 bikes. So that's more bikes than Nashville's ever had in bike share. So I would like more bikes. That's my main goal. There's no such thing as too many bicycles. So that's, and, you know, y'all gave us all the party buses, thank you very much. That was, no, really, that was a challenge for a couple of years.
I know we made some changes a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And kind of got 2 classes and kind of set up
Yeah, and we
limit on
had-
the number of permits.
We had sort of dealt with it like that because obviously, you know, touring buses are not the same as, you know, the bachelorette buses. So.
But that's going well, you think?
Well, I don't know if it's going well, it's going a lot better. It's a lot quieter, let's put it that way.
Committee members, any questions for Mr. Rogers?
What else do you want us to bring you to do?
Nothing, quite frankly. You know, I'm sure y'all think about this, but it really is a challenge for people to show up once a month and try and figure all that out, because I'm retired, so I have a lot of time, but most people have real jobs and families and that kind of stuff. And I'm not sure what to do to make it easier for people to serve on boards and commissions, but you might want to think about what that takes. And as I said, we have a very good staff right now. Richard Rooker does a really good job, but he needs help. And so I may be here for budget season, you know, to get him some staff. Because right now, the scooter companies are paying us money, and we could actually afford to hire some staff. So.
Thank you.
Councilmember.
Thanks, Chair. And thank you for your willingness to continue to serve. One of the things that is on my mind lately, and I was just talking to a constituent earlier today, they have a family-owned business, which is they have a tow truck, right? And it's just a small tow truck, and they park it in their driveway, which they're not technically allowed to do. And I know that there's more strict legislation that's about to be before y'all, or you all are discussing right now. And it's a very small business that it's just family owned, and it's just this one truck that belongs to them. And they have had a jury summons, and so they're trying to figure out what they can do. And it's going to cause a hardship for them. So I'm gonna put that on y'all to figure out what to do in these types of situations, right?
Have you talked to Ricky? That's the first thing
Not
I'd
yet.
suggest. Talk to Ricky about it. The record industry has been there for a long time. And so it's pretty settled, as a matter of fact. And quite frankly, we don't have a lot of trouble with the record companies that are permitted. But there are some big folks, you know, who are operating outside of the permitted system. But talk to him and let me know what we can do.
Thank you.
I'll admit, I do not know our rules in and out.
You're retired though.
Yes,
Got time.
I do, yes, that's true. You know, that fee study you probably heard about, I think you're dealing with, I'm probably the only person who's read that fee study who didn't get paid to read it. It was very interesting reading.
Councilmember Benedict, do you want to speak to your nominee?
Thank you, Chair. Absolutely. So Kerry and I have known each other since I first ran for office. He's been an absolute, a true definition of public servant. He brings his whole self to this work on the commission. If you haven't been to one of the commission meetings, you'll watch one, because Kerry asked the right questions. He is all about, you know, multimodal options for us. He spoke about scooters and bicycles, and he's a huge bike advocate and does a lot of leadership in the community around that. He brings that focus to the commission, and so that's something that, instead of just thinking about parking lots and, you know, and the other things that the TLC does, and party buses and all those things, he thinks about, if I'm a Nashvilleian, how can I use our city resources to get where I need to go in some method other than a car. So I think that's an important mindset to bring, and as he said, I mean, he's way more schooled on a lot of the things that I'm working on, so it's always great to have his opinion on things that are going on. So great advocate, and I'm really glad nobody else nominated anybody, so that he made your choice easy on the floor tonight.
Please don't abstain, you know.
Anything else, committee members? All right, we're ready to vote. All in favor of the nomination of Carrie Rogers?
Aye.
Any against? And any not voting?
Thank you.
0-0.
Thank
Thank you.
Well,
And all nominees and appointees, I'm sorry, I've been bringing WeGo cards, but I do not have any tonight. But we do have parking passes if you need one.
You gonna stick around?
Right, next we've got the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee nomination of M. Chris Weinman for a term expiring March 24th, 2027. Did I get that right, Weinman?
Yes.
Good. And this is an appointment, you're not on it, it's not you're.
Correct, new.
You'll be, if approved, you'll be new to it. So why the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission, and like what kind of work would you like to do in helping the city?
Sure. Very interested in safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. I've served on the board of Walk Bike Nashville for the last 7 years. I work for an engineering architecture firm in town that is very interested in that work as well. I'm also a frequent bike commuter and an even more frequent pedestrian, I would say. Walk around plenty, like most of us do. So just very interested in continuing the conversation on safety for users that are not in vehicles.
Committee members, any questions? Council members, yes?
Hey, thank you for your willingness to serve. Sorry, I got distracted with the strategist for NFL. It's my first season doing fantasy football, and I am very into it at the moment.
Well, I hope you don't have any Titans on your team.
I know better. I know better. Sorry, I might ask you for some advice later. Anyway, one of the things that is at the top of my mind right now is making sure that we are protecting pedestrians. And I know that NDOT is putting around signs to look both ways, and I know that's a topic at the moment. And while I appreciate that a little bit, kind of, there is one sign that went up that is in Spanish, where one of my constituents was crossing and died earlier in my term when they were crossing and a car was turning right on red. I would prefer a right turn on red, right? That would be great, but I want to make sure that as we move forward, that we are keeping in mind our diverse communities. I feel like we are lacking in that space, right, in many ways. And also when we are talking about other forms of transportation, right, and biking and scooters, bringing them into that conversation. Many times we are doing events in certain parts of town, but when we try and do events in other parts of town, we don't see the same enthusiasm, right? So I want to make sure that we are reaching all parts of the county, right? So when we close off streets to do a pedestrian event, open street event, led by the city in collaboration with Walk Bike, right? I want to see it in Donaldson. I want to see it in Hermitage. I want to see it in Southeast Nashville. I want us to be more inclusive in that way. And so bringing other communities into this conversation, I think is very important. And I want to challenge you to make sure that we're continuing to have these conversations.
I think that's great, and I would also mention that there are still 2 seats open on this board. And I would encourage, I guess the mayor controls the seats, but I would encourage folks to be in their communities and suggesting people that can perhaps represent their community on this board. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
But I know you referenced, I'm sorry for not
No,
wanting to be
you're fine.
recognized. I know you referenced safety. I guess what's the number one thing you think that Nashville should be doing from a safety perspective, that we're not currently?
Well, we're so far behind in the hierarchy of kind of keeping pedestrians and the most vulnerable users at the top of the chain, right? So I'm not sure there's one thing that's going to solve the problem, unfortunately. It's just continuing to kind of push and making the improvements that we can. I understand, but I think we often hear, oh, there's not money for this, there's not money for that. But when there are opportunities to get small wins, I think we need to take those and continue to push forward step by step.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. All right, all in favor of the appointment of Chris Weinman for a term expiring March 24th, 2027 to the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any not voting? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, last with the interviews, we have the Human Relations Commission appointment of Kate Feldhaus.
Katie Courthouse Jackson, yes.
Oh, sorry, Kate Feldhaus Jackson, for a term expiring July 22nd, 2028. And this is an appointment, so you are not on the commission now, but tell us a little bit about why you're interested in serving on the Human Relations Commission.
Yeah, I think the Human Relations Commission plays a very important role in providing a safe avenue for Metro employees to share complaints and concerns within their workplace. And I would like to be a part in helping look into those concerns and coming to a resolution. I also think that the education about anti-discriminatory policies and inclusionary policies is very important, and I'm looking forward to doing that on this commission.
Any questions? Have you watched any or been to any of the meetings?
I have watched some of the meetings. I have not been to any of them. But I think the streaming is a very vital resource for Metro meetings.
Anyone? Yes.
Thank you for your willingness to serve. Sorry, I think I was reading you have a little bit of HR experience, is that correct? Or
Not much HR experience. I do have some public service experience working in a congressional office. I'm in the private practice or industry now,
okay.
but I do have some forward-facing constituent service experience.
Okay.
If there are no more questions, we're ready to vote. All those in favor of the appointment of Katie Feldhaus Jackson for a term expiring July 22, 2028, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any not voting? 6-0. If you need a parking pass,
Thank you.
I got them. Thank you for serving. All right, now we've got another group that we interviewed last time. And unless there's objection, I'll consolidate. For the Metropolitan Board of Health, the appointment of Jeffrey Stovall for a term expiring July 9th, 2026. For the Metro Development and Housing Agency, the appointment of David Lawrence for a term expiring November 5th, 2030. For the Metro Planning Commission, appointment of Harriet Dang for a term expiring March 31st, 2026. For the Stormwater Management Commission, the reappointment of Janie Camp for a term expiring October 31st, 2029. And for the Stormwater Management Commission, the reappointment of Jay Fulmer for a term expiring October 31st, 2029. All those in favor of the consolidated confirmation list? Any opposed? Any not voting? So that's 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for all 5. All right, and now we are on rule changes. All right, and the first one is Rule 12, which I think we've had before us twice, and deferred twice, one by rule. And there's an amendment by Councilmember Stiles.
I'll sign on for discussion.
Okay. All right, do we want to take the amendment first?
Sure.
Can you share?
We put it on the tape. What do you do?
Usually you would move the.
I moved, we
Right.
need to move it first, right?
For a second?
Second.
All right. And now, let's move the amendment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. What does the amendment do?
So the main rule removes 12.3 from the rules. 12.3, sometimes called the Murphy Rule.
That's what?
The Murphy Rule.
Oh, right, gotcha. Murphy.
12.3 is the rule that allows you to add on the motion to include all members present and voting as sponsors to the legislation. So the amendment inserts that back into the rule.
Okay? Yes.
It appeared to me from the language that it's inconsistent with the rule changes. The rule change does away with the just honorary resolutions. 12.3 says you can add all members on to those honorary resolutions. So I don't think it's consistent with the language of the rule change. I guess that's a question, just to make sure I'm understanding that correctly.
The main rule removes the honorary and congratulatory type resolutions from being filed with the council and relegates those to proclamations. And so, yes, adding 12.3 back in seems to
Sort of
be
brings it back.
inconsistent. It does not bring back honorary resolutions.
So, somebody somebody evoking the content of this amendment would be met with,
Derision.
You can sign on to something that's not there, I guess.
I don't think it would be effective.
That's a nicer way to put it.
any discussion?
I don't know what the procedure is. I guess with that in mind, I would move to not
Vote
approve
against the amendment, I
amendment.
guess? That would be
Vote
your.
against, right now there's a motion to approve.
Okay.
So you would vote against it if you opposed
Okay.
it, or for it if you were in favor of it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
there's a message from the sponsor requesting to defer it
Of the amendment or of the rule?
to the rule.
Okay. Okay, I think we should go ahead and vote on the amendment. So it's from Councilmember Johnston.
From Councilmember Johnston,
All right,
yes.
all right, we got this amendment before us, so let's vote on it. Are we ready to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of the amendment to the Rule 12 change? Anybody against?
Aye.
Aye.
2, 3, 4, 5. 5 against, and anyone not voting? 1 not voting. So we, 0 in favor, 5 against, and 1 not voting on the amendment. Now, this will be the third deferral.
Discussion?
I think we should discuss. Yes.
So this would be the third deferral that the
Definitely.
sponsor is requesting. Is there a reason?
Because she's late and she wants to be able to address the committee. I'm assuming the address the committee part, she's saying if she's not here, she would like it to be deferred.
Okay.
If she's not here.
I will add that the first deferral was by rule, and the second deferral was, well, we had a lot going on that meeting and arguably didn't have time to talk in substance about it. But
It would be an automatic deferral if it gets deferred here, correct?
is that true for rule changes?
I believe at this point, this would be the third time this committee has deferred it. The automatic change would only apply for the first two.
So even though the first one was an automatic deferral, does that still count as a 3?
Based on my reading of the rules, yes.
And I know sometimes bills and resolutions are treated differently in that, but it applies to any deferral.
Traditionally, we treat rule amendments as in the same way we would resolutions.
Okay.
Still there?
So, yes.
Well, Councilmember Spain had his hand
Go
up
ahead.
first. I was just gonna say, I was looking at the sponsors, and I don't know if there's a concern about like what the impact is from a deferral in here. You know, it almost feels like we should talk about it in here. I'm signed on, I'm a yes. I assume others feel the same
I'm
way.
signed on, I'm a yes too,
And
for
so-
the concept.
Maybe we have the discussion and then and make a recommendation as a group, and then if, Councilmember Johnston wants to defer on the floor and have that conversation, she'll have the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
Just a thought.
Okay. Yes, Councilmember.
I'm a no. We've had this discussion before. There are certain things that happen throughout our term in the past that I feel are important to address, right? And to have enacted in honorary resolutions, right? And I don't feel like saving a couple of minutes should cause for a rule change. If that's the case, then I would encourage colleagues to just not pull things. I think that there will be a problem in the future if we do a rule change where we will have many of our colleagues trying to schedule in a proclamation presentation, which we are limited to 2 per announcement periods, because we have had proclamations being presented during announcements. I've done one of those, and I think that's a problem. I don't think it's important to, I don't think it's prudent to save a couple of minutes and change an entire rule for this. We've had community members who have been civil rights leaders who have died, who we have recognized in this manner. We have had very important, events throughout Nashville's history that we have recognized in this manner. I don't think that this is what we need to be doing. We could save time in different ways, and we have done that in other rules changes where we have consolidated the agenda to make things go faster.
I have to say, in somewhat, I agree if it was just one person talking. It's when people continue to talk over and over and over that has caused my concern and my interest in doing this. If it was Councilor Sepulveda, it's just, here's a recognition, but then 10 people didn't line up to say the same thing. That's where I find the duplicity is causing the time crunch.
But this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this rule doesn't address your concern, or it addresses your concern by just not allowing the resolutions at all. So, like, I'm hearing something from you that might be a different rule change that still allows it, but that's not before us.
Yeah, I'm not, but I've just signed on because I feel like we need to, our meetings are really long sometimes, and as much as I think some people should be honored, but it should be brief, and it doesn't ever turn out that way, it seems.
Okay. I feel like sometimes I am frustrated that we're bringing up things, and sometimes it's a lot of the same people that are speaking about it. But however, like I do think some of the things that come out are important, and it's not. I feel like it's not for me to pick and choose which things are important, which community members in this city need to be honored. There are other times that we have discussions that I think have gone on way too long on other legislation, and I think there are other ways to address meetings moving faster, I guess, and I feel like we're gonna lose something with this rule change that I get it, but I'm just not willing to vote to remove that history that gets into the record. And so I'll be voting no.
Should we take a vote?
Anyone else? All right, so do we want to vote on the rule change and not defer it? Okay. All right, all those in, this was not amended. All right, all those in favor of Rule 12, the change to rule, the amendment to Rules of Procedure Rule 12, say aye.
Aye.
Is that 1, 2, 3, 4 against? And not voting, 0. All right, so we'll send that to the full council. All right, so last is Rule 29, an amendment to the Rules of Procedure for Rule 29. Councilmember Spain, you are the lead sponsor of this rule change.
Yes.
Would you like to speak to it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand by rule this will be an automatic deferral tonight. I'm happy to talk about it this evening to the extent that everyone wants
Correct.
to, but we'll actually take a vote next time. Of course, all of us have been having lots of conversations about zoning bills lately, and the first concern we hear is that we're doing wholesale zoning changes to people's property, and we explain, that's not what this does. We're creating new zoning categories that will go through the regular rezoning process. And then a lot of times the next sentence is, well, that's great, but we don't trust the current zoning process. We don't know anything about it till it's too late. We're not engaged in the process, that sort of thing. So the intent of this is to provide some predictability to that process for large-scale rezones, which are defined as 25 or more parcels or 10 or more acres, and specifies where all of the property owners are not signed on to the application. So this isn't someone wanting to rezone their own property or a group of property owners wanting to rezone their own property. These would be council member initiated rezones. It also applies to text amendments. There would be an automatic 60-day deferral after first reading. So notices would go out. People would see that we're going to have a public hearing in 60 days after first reading. It provides space for that conversation between the council member and their community. It doesn't dictate what that process looks like. We're not saying, a council member has to do X number of community meetings. We all have our own ways of doing that. It just gives space for that conversation to happen, and hopefully gives folks a little bit of peace of mind that they will have the opportunity to engage in the process. Realistically, I think a lot of times these type of rezones of this magnitude take at least that long or longer, but you don't necessarily know that till you get there, and it's deferred once or twice and that sort of thing. So this is intended to provide some predictability around that, so people will know they're going to get a notice, there's going to be a 60-day window before anything else happens.
It does, I like the direction. Does it tell what kind of notices have to be sent out?
It doesn't
I
specify.
didn't get a chance to take a look at it.
It says that the clerk will provide notice. I believe the term is as soon as practicable, which just means they'll,
But the kind of notice that's supposed to be received, does that dictate that?
We need some input from planning, because right now what they do is, the notices themselves aren't sent out by the clerk's office, they're sent out by either planning or the developer. And a lot of times they send out one combined notice for the planning commission public hearing and the council public hearing. So we need some input from planning on exactly how they would handle that in this case.
Any other questions for the sponsor? All right, so we will, by rule, defer one meeting.
I would make them defer.
We need to vote on that?
No.
To defer one meeting?
Is it, we need to vote on the deferral, or is it just automatic?
I think that would be appropriate.
Okay, all in favor of the deferral?
Aye.
I'm saying just because I need to read it a little bit more before
Before you defer it?
say
or
I,
before-
yeah, I need to.
We have to defer it, it's a rule.
Right, and that's fine.
Okay, so you're in favor of the deferral?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody against the deferral? Anybody not voting? All right, 6 to 0, defer one meeting. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.